My goal was I want to be able to live and work wherever I want.
Tell me about the first piece of content that really hit.
I have a Batwings video, millions of views on
Amazing.
YouTube.
What were some of the struggles that you had before joining Creator Method? Welcome to the very first Creator Method podcast. I'm really excited about this. Today I'm sitting down with Tracy Campoli, a powerhouse creator, wellness mentor, mom, and all-around awesome human being who I personally appreciate tremendously. She's been featured in major outlets like Good Morning America, The Today Show, ABC, Business Insider, USA Today, and more. For additional context, she has 169,000 followers on Instagram, 347,000 subscribers on YouTube, with over 60 million views there, and over 5,000 followers on TikTok. Tracy helps women over 40 feel amazing, glow, and get fit with fast, fun, no excuses workouts, and she does it all with humor, heart, and a deep understanding of what it's like to be busy and still show up for yourself. How's it going, Tracy?
Pretty good. Quite an intro.
So tell me your story. Tell me about kind of where, I know you're from Massachusetts, but tell me more.
Cold Massachusetts. So I was a dancer. That's how I started. So I was a dancer. I went to university for dance.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So they call it contemporary now, but modern dance. I did ballet my whole life.
So you were always an athlete?
I was always an athlete.
Okay.
And so then, as most dancers do, I started having some back pain, some like minor injuries. I started doing Pilates, became a Pilates instructor.
So what age did you start getting these injuries?
Early 20s.
Okay.
The body break. I mean, at that point, it's different now, I think, but at that point, like 25, you were done. And
Wow.
so I was living in New York, working for a dance company, but also waiting tables because, there's no income. And I remember turning 25, crying at the coffee machine, being like, I'm going to be a waiter forever. No shade on, service industry. But I was like, I know I'm meant to do something. So I started then loving Pilates. And then, fast forward to I opened my own studio. Yeah,
How old were you when you opened your own studio?
Probably 32
Okay.
maximum.
Okay.
Yeah, something like 32. So early 30s. I worked at a gym for like a decade. Then I opened my own studio, which was great. But while I was opening that, I started wanting to, started learning about online business. And at that point, I wanted to be a life coach.
Okay.
And I was young. It's kind of embarrassing now.
Why?
I don't know. It's just, because obviously life experience. I think that you can be a fantastic 20-year-old life coach,
I think so
18, but.
I think so too.
So I started life coaching. I started a newsletter. So I started also realizing like the power of like creating a community. Like that.
What year
early.
was this? So I'm curious what year this was, because when you're talking about the power of creating a community, I'm guessing that the timeline was significantly before social media.
Yeah, I would say 2008.
Okay, so that's significantly before social media.
Yes.
And I kind of have a bookmark in my brain because in 2017, Valeria started creating content like more intentionally.
Yeah.
My question to you is, in 2008, before, you didn't have that proof. So where did you get the vision? Because it's very impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
So where did you get that vision?
I just always, even when I was a trainer, I wanted to just like have a bigger impact. That was always my goal. I want to help more people. I want to have a bigger impact. So how can I do that? So, I don't even remember what I was doing at the time, but I started a newsletter. That's what I was doing. So I started a newsletter in 2008 or whatever, started building that. And then it was great because at first it was like all my Pilates students, but then it would be like, oh, they told their friend about it. They were forwarding it. So I started seeing like growth.
Forwarding the email.
The newsletter, right? And then...
Sorry. Your email list was fueling your brick and mortar business.
No.
What was the monetization model on that?
Coaching. I started getting coaching clients.
But coaching clients
in person, yeah.
In person.
In person or like, phone.
But like phone.
Yeah, phone. Like not, not.
But and at the same time, you had the physical space.
I had a physical space. I'm a big fan of overlap.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm like,
but to this day, even though all's digital, I feel there's a big return back to IRL is what the kids are calling it, in real life
100%.
events, and which we're investing into more and more. And so you had your physical space in 2008. You had their email list, which was fueling your consulting business.
Yes.
Did you have, when you say overlap, did you have the people coming into the studio?
No.
So you had no geographic boundaries.
No geographic boundaries.
Which is very impressive. I want to point this out. The reason I'm trying to extract this from you is because I want creators to think a certain way, right?
Well, I was like, well, I'm a trainer, and I was top of my game. Like, I had a studio in New York City,
amazing,
on Union Square, which is like health and wellness, mecca. But it was small. I was also smart. I was like, I'm subleasing, so I can travel, I can go away, I can do like whatever.
Yeah.
So, but it was my space. Like, it was mine. I owned the equipment. It was mine.
Right.
But I was like, I can only make X amount of dollars every week.
Out of the physical space.
Yeah, in a physical space. So I was like, how can I help more people and also grow my income? And so it was like, I'm not bound to actually being in the room with people. And that, especially as a trainer back then, was huge. Like, wait, you're gonna be able to actually help people change their body, change their minds, and it all starts in the mind, right?
And this is pre-Zoom.
Skype.
It was pre, not so much Zoom, but it was pre-video conferencing where you can have a lot of people.
Yes.
Like what we do, like
100%.
with Creator Method, like you couldn't do that.
No.
So it was still one-on-one. So I can only imagine how your mind opened after all this technology came out to be like, I can have 30 people on a call simultaneously.
Totally.
Okay.
So then that, so that was kind of the coaching. But then I realized like I was going to move, like a random thing happened in my life. We won't get into that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to move. So I made a DVD for my clients. And they loved it. And I had this, amazing client who lived at this gorgeous apartment. It was like, just shoot it in my house. I was like, thanks, and it just looked perfect.
And it was a fitness.
It was a Pilates mat.
Right.
It was called Matt and More. Shout out to, old school people. Matt and More. And it was a DVD. And then I was like, well, all my students love this so much.
Yeah.
How can I get it into bigger hands? This was probably like 2010. So I was like, oh, I hear about this YouTube thing. Like, maybe I'll just start doing. So I used a flip video. What was it? It wasn't even called a camera. The flip video camera.
Okay.
I don't even know. No light, no microphone. I
love it.
I start like, hey guys, it's still up there. It's
I love it. Is it
if
I sort your YouTube videos?
Oh yeah,
by
you'll find
oldest,
it.
will I find it?
Oh, 100%.
So I love that. Look,
Yes.
what you're talking about is it's interesting because I talk to so many creators who they have this like failure to start. They're stalled out because they think that they need like all of
the
this.
things.
They think they need all of this.
No,
to do a
I still
podcast.
don't have all of this. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Like,
Well,
my cameraman's a tripod.
Yeah, no, fair. Valeria's literally, and your Instagram husband is an octobuddy.
Right.
But Valeria's literally filming a solo podcast episode in our living room right now. So yeah. So good for you for not using that as like an excuse
I'm
and as a mental
big
block.
fan of done is better than perfect.
Oh,
Like,
music to my ears.
And I've always been that way. Like, I'm Italian, Scorpio, 5'2", like very like scrappy kind of gal. So I'm just like, F it, let's go. Like, if I have an idea, I try to execute as quick as I can.
Yeah.
Because usually that's inspiration and I feel like, okay. And so I think it's great to not know what you're doing.
I agree. Mark Zuckerberg famously said, and he probably says it from time to time, he said, you have to move fast and break things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
And it's true.
100%.
I actually see that with their platform where they mess things up a lot.
Yeah.
I've been on Meta platforms. My first like business at scale with Facebook, I started in like 2013. And I was channeling 200 million people a month from Facebook to a website that I had.
Amazing.
Yeah. And but I saw the level of like, anyways, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you 100%. I guess what I'm trying to illustrate is that companies, especially in technology and media, which Meta is, right? They don't believe in this, like, you got to move slow and we got to make it perfect before we launch it. They're just like all in, go. And I strongly believe that if an organization with tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands of people working for them that are publicly traded companies, if they're doing it at their scale, there's absolutely no reason
Permission.
why a creator such as yourself, or such as me, or Valeria, or any of our members, why they need this like perfect scenario.
No. And also, let's be honest, I started on a flip video camera, horrible. Now, like the iPhone 16 is insane. Like I'm sorry, like these kids have it easy.
They really do.
It makes it look really nice. It's not a weird thing to be like, creating content at all.
Well, there's the flip side of that too. So that's, I think we're kind of shaming the current generation of creators, like let's say millennial aged, but we're shaming them from what it used to be, but I also want to shame them from what's coming. And no, seriously, because our kids, since they were about 8 or 9, have been producing and editing short form videos that we don't let them post. So they make them. They'll use some of the some of the editing tools on social media, but we never let them post it. And they bring it to us, and they're hilarious. They're incredible. They're amazing.
That's so great.
And they're little kids, and they're fine with it. So if they can figure it out. Sorry, we have to stop shaming. I have to stop shaming.
Listen,
people.
I'm ready to hire my 6-year-old now.
Right?
I'm not kidding. She's like, Mommy, I want to work with you. I'm like, get started today, honey. Right? Like, go. Like, she loves when she hears when I record my podcast in my closet. Like in my closet, so she hears the cart coming out and she's like, can I move it? I'm like, yes.
So
babe.
cute. So cute.
Like,
so cute.
Adorable.
Yeah, our 12-year-old's the same way. He's been on me for a couple of years. Yeah. Can I intern for Creator Method? Yeah.
I'd let him.
I wanted to have him.
He can work for me if you want.
Oh, you're so sweet. I might take you up on it. I had him.
We pay interns.
I had him at the previous Creator Method event in New York. Yeah. I didn't have him at this one because he was away at summer camp. But I think I'm going to have him like handing out drinks or something.
I think that would be amazing.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. But let's move on. I want to know more about you. So at some point, we got to the point where you were talking about you discovered YouTube.
Yes.
And so YouTube to you was like a distribution platform.
So it was just, let me get it out there. So, to your point of like what then started, two things. I wasn't paying attention to the data. I didn't even know how to. Data, analytics, like numbers. I was just like, when I had a good hair day, I would turn on the camera. So I wasn't being like dedicated.
Yeah, it probably worked in your favor.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, I feel inspired today. I'm going to do it, blah, blah, blah. I had a friend that worked at Google. And she was like, Tracy, one of your videos has had like 120,000 views. I had no idea.
You weren't paying attention.
Wasn't paying attention. Yeah. So that happened. But then I also started seeing sales. This was actually really funny. I broke up with a boyfriend. And like the next day.
Oh, sorry. You were doing this before you met your husband?
Yeah.
So you met your husband, you were already a creator?
Yes.
At some meaningful scale?
Yes.
Okay, amazing.
Yes. All right. Which is also interesting because he's not on social media at all.
Gotcha.
Like not a single platform.
Yeah. No, I know. I don't see him. I don't see him on your content.
So I broke up with that boyfriend, and the next day had like sale, and it was through PayPal. My DVD, like somehow it got into a video forum, and all these girls like and I thought I was being scammed. I was like, what's happening? And then I was like, oh, wow, like this is kind of amazing, and also just the idea of, being a trainer, being someone that was so used to being so hands-on, to being like, wow, like people are seeing me and doing my workouts or doing my work and like feeling the benefits. And then I like finally were like talking about it nicely, thankfully. We'll get to the not so nice stuff after, but it's like, I was like, this is incredible. It really was what I wanted. So that was when I was like, okay, I'm in. Like I'm in. I love this because, again, I couldn't clone myself. I tried to hire other teachers. My people didn't want to, so it was tough.
Yeah, I get it. That's incredible. I mean, you need to be able to kind of cast your reach beyond the physical confinements of your studio.
The funny thing is, sorry to interrupt you, the funny thing was my goal was I want to be able to live and work wherever I want.
They call it being a digital nomad now.
And then I met my husband, who at the time was like a banker in New York, and was like, I have to be here.
Wall Street. Have to be on Wall Street. Yeah.
Oh, like what? But, it was worth it. Worth the sacrifice.
Yeah, for sure. No, but listen, I mean, I'm sure you still, as a creator and at the scale that you're at, I'm sure you enjoy being able to just pick up and go whenever you want.
No, it's amazing.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. And it fully tracks my personality. As we said, from 3 years old, I was like, I'll do it myself. And so
that's great.
kind of running my own show is great.
Tell me about the first piece of content that really hit. Was it that one on YouTube for 120,000?
No, it's really funny. I have a Batwings video.
A what?
Batwings. Batwings are
yes,
like,
I know it. Yes.
So that was
I don't know that particular video, but I've seen you talking about it in your content.
So that was like, I mean, I think now at this point, I don't know how many millions, but it's had millions of views on YouTube. And do you know who Candy Johnson is? No. You would know. She has, I don't know, probably like 4 million followers on YouTube. I don't think she posts anymore. Amazing human being. But I didn't know her. She just was like, oh, I found this workout, and she talked about it in one of her vlogs. And then it was like, I mean, it was literally like, you know, like, and I think at that point I'd already had like 2 million views, but that helped.
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? Is like when you put out content, it's not only the algorithms that are potentially distributing your content. It's, I call them centers of influence, like influential people. And by the way, like not even influential people publicly. Because it's not just about volume, right? If somebody sees a video that you create and they're a person with, they're a center of influence, even among their friends, and they tell 10 other centers of influence, then all of a sudden things take off, and you don't know whether it's the algorithm that's giving you distribution, or it's just people by word of mouth telling each other, or sending each other, DMs or emails or whatever. So it's important to keep taking those shots on net.
And it's also interesting because like what I'm doing is not different than what I was doing before there was social media. I was a Pilates instructor. I worked at a gym for a decade. I would be in front of a room of 60 people, like tipped, like I couldn't move, you know? I mean, I am a good trainer. I will like give myself that, like I'm a good trainer, but.
You're a good Pilates trainer.
Yes, but more than anything, it was like, I would be the girl that's like, oh my God, you guys, I tried this drink. You got like in person, like very that's powerful. My personality. Very so powerful. This is very like,
do you still train people for fun?
No.
Do you do classes at all?
I do. I take classes. So now I'm a student.
You take classes?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to redesign our gym and trick it out into like a beautiful Pilates studio. But my husband was like, are you going to train people? I was like, absolutely not.
Okay. So in terms of kind of where you're at, we talked about some of the data. Thank you for sharing your kind of origin story and where you're at. It's been, it's been an amazing progression. Talk to me about kind of where you're at right now, and what does your business look like right now? What does the Tracy Campoli business look like right now?
So it's interesting. I was going to quit YouTube. I was really like on the fence about 2 years ago.
Your videos get a lot of views.
Now, but I just wasn't into it. I wasn't passionate. I was doing it just to do it. I have a fitness membership. So what I would do is give, which it's great, but I would give like a 5-minute clip with an intro and an outro.
Yep.
And that just wasn't creatively fulfilling for me. I love my membership. I love working out. I mean, it's part of my life. It's what I do. But I was like, this just isn't it. And so I was going to quit. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give myself a year to go all in on YouTube. Because I'd seen growth on Instagram, a lot of growth. Like when Reels first came out, I was doing these workouts. But again, and I love trainers. This is no shade on anyone that's just like a fitness, but I feel like that's a part of my life. There's so many other facets, right? And so I've had, all my friends were like, oh my God, you have so much more to give, and I was just like, whatever. And then finally I was like, you know what, they're right. Like I have so much more to give.
Good
so
I
hired a YouTube coach, and I was like, I'll work with you for like 3 months. And I was like, but I want to go all in. And good coach, she had a really long intake form, and that I realized, she was like, I don't want you to give any more workouts. Like you have hundreds of them. So what I started doing was like just talking about life, talking about being at the time 49, and what I do for skin and hair and lifestyle, and and I really was going to quit. And then I just felt so much more inspired. So then, again, I was like creatively led, was just doing it. And then brand deals started coming in again. I'd done them years before.
Amazing.
But I was like, wow. Then I started getting really busy. And then when I did my taxes, I was like, oh, like I realized that.
Sorry, it took doing your taxes for you to understand that you were making more money?
It took doing the taxes for me to realize this is not like a fun little one-off type of thing, but like when I'm creating content, I'm not playing around.
Right.
I'm actually working, and that work is important.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I, for I'm just like a data kind of nerd, which you wouldn't expect, but like I needed to see that on paper to see the like, okay, fitness membership, all the other stuff inside of my like regular business that I was used to. But then the content creation, I was like, this is wild, you know? And so, so now where it stands, I mean, I consider myself a full-time content creator. I am. I am a full-time content creator.
You do it full-time and you derive a meaningful income from it.
Yes. And YouTube is really like our number one source, you know.
Sorry, when you say YouTube, I want to get clarity on it. When you say YouTube, you're not necessarily talking about like AdSense. No. You're talking about the brand partnerships.
However, it wasn't until I really got focused on YouTube where I was like, this is real money coming from AdSense, like real money, not just like, oh, a bill or a nice, you know, whatever. So that was exciting. But, you know, we kind of talked about overlapping, and I love overlapping. I love multiple streams of income, and it makes me feel safer. I'm sure it's like a therapy conversation, you know, like,
no, it's all good.
It's like, okay, Italian girl trauma. But like, honestly, it does feel really good that it's not all coming from one source and not even from my traditional business. So I have my business, which is obviously very important to me.
Which is the membership.
Which is the fitness membership. Yeah.
I would argue that the whole thing is your business, and you've just got multiple incomes. You've got multiple revenue models within an existing business.
You see, this is why Creator Method. Like sometimes, like this happens to me all the time with Creator Method. It's like, oh, I really needed that reframe, so thank you for that.
Oh,
that's exactly it. Because I always think of it as like X and Y, as opposed to like, no, it's all
going to the same. Yeah. It's all going to the same place and derived from the same source.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm taking that in. So AdSense, yes. You know, more than I was making as a Pilates instructor. So that's
just on AdSense alone.
Just on AdSense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Brand deals, you know, so we have 8 videos a month, and or 8 or 9, and we generally have every single video.
If you're doing
sponsored.
2 a week, it's 9.
But what's so cool is it's so much repeat. You know, I think I'd posted in our Creative Method conversation, like 80%, 85% of what we do is repeat, which is
our brand's coming back.
Yes, which is awesome, because it's like, it really is stuff that I use all the time. So it just makes it like easy peasy to talk about. Like, amazing. I love the product, I use it, you know. So I'm really grateful for that. But then also affiliate income.
Right.
You know, which is great, you know.
How do you deal with the frustration of downturns?
Oh man, I was in
First of all, do they happen? Or
yes.
Oh, you're not constantly on the way up?
No.
Which is, I'm almost asking it like, it's almost like a bit facetious of me, because I talk to so many creators who are at much earlier stages. Yeah. And when their data flattens out for even a couple of days, it's a panic.
Okay. Age and wisdom too. I truly believe, because you've been through a thing or two. It's like, nothing is forever, the good or the bad, right? And so I think I was on like a plateau on YouTube for years. And that was shame on me. You know what I mean? I wasn't experimenting. I wasn't doing things that really brought me joy. I was just, whatever. It is what it is. Then Instagram was like exciting, and like Reels came out, and that was exciting, and I was seeing growth. But like, in full transparency, I wasn't seeing income growth from that for me.
I would argue that you just weren't attributing it. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell me.
Was your overall business revenue-wise growing?
No.
During that time? No. Okay. No. So I could be wrong.
No.
But the only reason I say that is because if Instagram was giving you visibility that you didn't have before,
actually, you're right.
That additional visibility would have likely ported some people would have now, more people would have potentially discovered your YouTube.
Yeah.
So if your YouTube also grew, the reason I say that is because during COVID, Valeria gained like 1 million followers on TikTok in a matter of 3 months.
Amazing.
It just happened like this. It was just at that period of time. Yeah. And we saw a massive increase, like a massive kind of rally on Instagram, where our monetization was happening through brand partnerships.
Yeah.
And so because we had that massive uptick on Instagram, our revenues during COVID, and they've continued, thankfully, they grew. So indirectly, even though we didn't have brands reaching out and saying we want to monetize with you on TikTok. Right. So that's why I would say.
I think actually, when you say it that way, I think you're actually right. But again, I think it's interesting because the difference for me, I love Instagram and I'm like falling back in love with it. And it's great because now also I feel like, okay, I understand YouTube again. I have support, which is important. You know, it's harder, right? Doing a 20-minute video is very different than a 20-second one, right? And so I have team, I have people that help me. Like I feel really like we got it done. Like we're in a good place, and I can experiment. So no, it's not all up ever. You know, and I think that that's one of the, you know, they say like if you want the best self-development program, like start a business. And I 100% agree, because all your stuff is going to come up, all of your, you know, weak points, all of, you know, and you have to like navigate. And even when it is great, it's like enjoy it, be grateful. You know, what I'm most grateful for is like the community that we're building, you know, which I think is incredible.
I agree.
And you know, you got to just keep it moving.
So on that note, and I'm very careful because, you know, I don't want conversations to sound like it's a pitch for Creator Method, because I see a lot of people, they go directly to try to make the sale rather than making.
I used to.
No, and I used to as well. I believe in establishing myself, Creator Method, and for you with, you know, all creators. You establish yourself as an expert in your field, and then people will make the decision on their own. Yeah. So I believe in the long game. Yeah. So I don't want this to be a pitch.
100%.
But tell me, what have you experienced since joining Creator Method? Like, I'd love to get kind of feedback from you. I'd like to understand if and how much progress you've seen. Huge. It's been I think almost a year, right?
Just about a year. Okay. Yeah. I mean, first of all, about a year before you started Creator Method, in my head was like, I wanted to be mentored by you.
Oh,
you know, like I was like, I just think it's really important to have people that are in it. So yeah, in Creator Method, I think I get inspired on a daily in ways that I didn't even know I needed. You know, like even just now, this conversation, like that little reframe, it's like it opened up like a little thought portal of like, yes, it's all me. Because also that makes it a lot easier for me to focus and like get all my stuff done. Do you know what I mean?
But I don't think it's, sorry to interrupt you, I don't think it's because I'm necessarily like, I'm just bringing a different perspective. And one of the things that I believe is important with our community is being with other creators.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. That's what creators need.
Yeah, they need to have
We're all in a room with a phone or with a camera. Correct. Or, you know what I mean? So I think that that's been huge. And having, for me, the community, you know, like what I love that's so unique about it is, you know, there's course material where it's like literally like, oh, you have a contract and you're not quite sure. You can look and suss it out from there. Or if you're a brand new beginner, it's like, it's a roadmap, which is amazing, you know. Obviously, I didn't come in as a beginner, but I think being able to pick and choose what material I need is huge.
What were some of the struggles that you had before joining Creator Method? And then if you did find like kind of like progression or solutions to those struggles, what were some of the things that you were questioning, and how was the community able to help?
I think, you know, the biggest thing for me was this sort of segmenting, which is weird because I didn't realize I was doing this as much as I was, but it was like kind of like thinking I was taking away from like my real job, which is me, you know, to like create content, you know, and then realizing, no, this is all part of it. It feels so good to know that like, once a week, there's a call, and I am a hand raiser.
Once a week, there's
with Creator Method, you know, and being able to like get and know that like I don't have to struggle or suffer. We also have our Slack channel, so I'm not doing this alone. And so having people that are actually in it, you know, and you know, having you and Rachel and just, you know, your team, it's like people that have been through all these growth spurts, growing pains, you know, where you're just like, and
declines.
Yeah.
And dealing with that.
Oh,
It's massive.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you show up like differently? Have you changed strategically in terms of the way you deliver your content?
Yes.
And run your business overall?
Yes. So strategy-wise, very different. You know, geeking out even more on data and analytics, not to the point where it makes me crazy, but where it's like, okay, like let's use the resources that are available, and being consistent. You know, it's like, oh, I want my Instagram to grow. It's like, well, how often are you posting? And I had a real story around like, I can't. I mean, it's like, if you're out and you're getting dressed, put on the outfit. Like
That's me telling you
yes,
that.
Yes. And this is something Creator Method helped me with. Like, oh, I'm shy. I don't want to be that girl, you know? And then I'm like, whoa. This is your full-time job. Be that girl.
Don't even get me started. Do you know how many times and I should probably make a lesson on this, but do you know how many times I've found out, like I'm going to throw Valeria under the bus just a little bit. Valeria. Yeah, sorry, Valeria. But we've invested in the past and we continue to do so to send her to like a Paris Fashion Week or some massive like event.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times we have like a lead sponsor,
sure,
but the revenue coming in from that lead sponsor won't cover the entire like being there. So what happens is you go down there, and then what happens is when you're days away from being there, or even like hours away from like something, we start getting flooded with brands who are already on the ground there saying, hey, can Valeria come and show up here for X amount? And then we're just doing these deals in real time to get that done.
That's great. And see, again, something I didn't know I needed. Like, I needed to hear, like, oh, that's next level. Love that.
Yeah, because what ends up happening is when you go there, so again, you hope to secure, we're actually working on it now. You hope you secure one sponsor that'll hopefully cover your expenses in terms of like flights and hotels.
Yeah, sure.
But we're still talking like 5 figures plus, right? It's not cheap to fly to wherever it is, Paris or London.
Anywhere now.
Or anywhere, yeah. And so especially with her team and this and that. So we kind of, we try to secure that initial, and then once she's already there, and by the way, this isn't just us, this is the way the industry works.
Of course.
And I think this would work really well with you, by the way. This is a strategy. But like once you get down there, then you should have an email database of all of your past and present brand clients. Yeah. You blitz them all. You send them an email saying, hey, Tracy's Tracy's gonna be in, let's say, Paris for Paris Fashion Week or Milan Fashion Week or whatever your industry is. She's gonna be there from this day to this day. She's available for activations. Here's an update on her audience metrics, her reach, last 30 days, all of that, right? So it's like this little, this little presentation. And then when you get there, or shortly before you arrive, you start booking those deals. But there's another component. And so you end up actually being net positive. So once you get back, you actually end up generating revenue.
Right.
But the more important thing is the awareness that you get, the branding that you get. So there's the direct conversion of brand partnerships that you receive. Yeah. But then there's also the benefit of the exposure that you get. I was at an event with Gary Vaynerchuk. It was actually his event. It was a couple of years ago.
I have a funny story.
With Gary?
Yeah.
He's such a salt of the earth guy.
He's
and I didn't know, he's super raw on his content. But I remember we were introduced, one of his executives, lovely woman, we're friends with her. She introduced us at that party, and he just came up to me, and he wasn't like, and there was like 300 people at this party. And he wasn't like, oh, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, hey, Gary, can I get a picture? Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah. He stood with me for 15 minutes.
He's awesome.
Where are you from? What, oh, what do you do? He was like invested.
He's like real,
We were at, Valeria spoke at VCon last year, and we were in like the speakers, the speaker section. He came in like once in 3 days. He came in to say hi to everyone. He came in right away. Gary, Valeria, what's up?
That's awesome.
How does he remember?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, what was your story with him?
Oh, I did a Batwings video with him in his office.
Did you really? Okay,
so this is funny. So at the time, this was like, my YouTube channel was doing well, and I was part of their like partner program, whatever it was called, but I lived in New York at the time. Yeah. So I had this great, partner. She was awesome lady. And she was like, she opened her computer to review my channel, and she had a Gary V video just happened to be up. And I was like, oh, I love Gary V. So she was like, do you want me to see if I can connect you guys?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure. And so she ended up, and I went to his office and interviewed him, but the whole time we were doing Batwings. It's still on YouTube.
That's funny. Why does that sound familiar? I think I may have seen that. I may have seen that, but I think I saw it before I met you. And that's why I knew who you were when you became a member. I was like, I know you. That's funny. I made the connection. But anyways, just getting back to this. So yeah, when you look at that strategy of going somewhere like that, I guess for me, my feedback always to Valeria is I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but if you're already in the room with somebody, take that photo, because that photo has a lot of value. That photo has value beyond just the fact that you're going to put it up and you have the immediate association and people think you're cool. There's more to it than that. First of all, if that person reshares it on stories, that's
Yeah.
meaningful.
100%.
But it goes towards building your personal brand.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for direct conversion, that if we take a picture with somebody, then immediately brands are going to start calling.
Right.
It's a building block. Again, I'm always talking about long term.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But you should, I mean, before we kind of get into strategy for you, you should really consider finding these kind of events all over
Yeah.
the world. If you're ready to reinvest back into your business.
Yeah.
So if you have a meaningful positive cash flow and your kind of cash pile is growing, like if you look at what we do, we're always putting the money back in.
Yeah.
We're always like podcast producer,
Right.
VP of ops.
Yeah.
So we're always reinvesting back
Yeah.
into growth. So if you're ready for that,
Yeah.
I recommend
That's a great idea.
going to ChatGPT, telling ChatGPT, this is who I am. These are my content verticals. This is what I'm like, my interest. This is the demographic of my audience. Give it as much information as possible. What events globally do you recommend I attend in any capacity in order to take advantage of networking and visibility and to achieve visibility? And ChatGPT will likely give you maybe between 5 and 12 various events throughout the world that are specifically for what you do. And then what I would do if I were you is I would send an email to maybe handpick a brand to say, hey, look, I'm going to be there. If you're going to be there too, what can we do? How can we work together?
It's so crazy. Like, this is exactly where my head has been lately.
Good.
It's just like, okay, because I was having this conversation with ChatGPT. It was like, that's what I was telling you. It was like about the team thing. I was like, what is my next level? Because it's like at a certain point you're like, I'm kind of living like what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like I am right now. So there's
be careful with that.
Yes, agreed.
Be careful with that because
you don't want to be like stagnant.
Well, one thing I'll tell you. Okay, so I'll try to make this a quick story. I don't have many regrets in life, but I have one kind of quasi regret. And when in late 1999, I started a business. It was an online restaurant directory. My goal was to make it would be like beyond any of one of my dreams, 80,000 Canadian dollars a year, which was about the equivalent of about 50 or 60,000 US dollars. That was my dream back in 1999 when I was 28 years old, 29 years old. And I eventually, with that online restaurant directory, made significantly more than that.
Sure.
And the problem is that for just under a decade, I thought I was, I thought I made it. Right?
Yeah, and then you don't grow.
And then I don't grow.
Yeah.
I was growing within that business.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I kind of stumbled upon this other kind of derivative concept that was like a daily deals back. It was Groupon. We were a competitor to Groupon. At that point, I did that. And then we raised like a meaningful amount of money after we raised like $32 million after 12 months in that business. A lot of that came off the table, fortunately.
Yeah.
My point is that I became compliant in that business. Complacent.
Yeah.
I became complacent in that business because I thought I made it.
Yeah.
And the discussion Valeria and I have often is like, we got to keep pushing more. Valeria's like, there were times, she doesn't say it anymore. She's like, we're doing great. I'm like, we're doing great. We got to do better. We got to do more. If we're not growing, we're shrinking.
Yeah.
So that's what,
100%. It's funny because I realized, I was like, well, obviously there's periods where you're like, okay, I'm trying to manage all the things, right? Especially, someone at my scale and size, it's like, okay, we're setting up support here. We're investing in the business, getting support, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, then, okay, we kind of, as I
But you're doing it. You have 7 employees. You're not complacent.
Yeah. So it's like, now I'm like, all right, we have like the boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Now it's time for me as a creator to like, what is the next level, And I'm going to be quite honest, and I don't like this, but it's just reality, and I think this might help someone. I think it's really easy to pull the mom card and be like, well, I'm also a mom, and it's like, so what? I want her to see me doing big things.
You're like reading my mind.
Yeah.
We have So I literally just worked with Valeria on a carousel, like a 6 or a 7 frame carousel about mom guilt.
Yeah.
Because this is something Valeria and I talk about. But to your point, you're right. The crux of that carousel, which is going to come out soon, is that, and I always told Valeria this over the years, is that you are doing more for our children by showing them an example of what a strong, successful, driven, and motivated woman is, rather than, quite frankly, like wiping their ass one extra time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean to be crude about it, but in reality, it's like you're setting, like we have boys, so you're setting a standard for them of what their future partner is going to be like.
Yeah.
And if we had girls, that would be a direct example of what a strong woman is.
Yeah.
So when I frame it to her that way, that's worth far more. Like when you have to go on these trips and be away for like a week at a time, which it completely breaks her. Like she's so upset leaving the kids.
I'm not.
You're not, good for you.
I'm not. I'm like, I'll be back.
But you were saying you would pull that card from time to time.
Well,
especially when your daughter was small.
When my daughter was smaller.
She's still 6.
Yeah. But still, it's like, it's a lot to manage, like your mind and wanting to be present, and social media is a 7-day a week game.
It is. You want to hear something funny?
Oh,
You want to hear something funny? Yesterday, we were working. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday. And our 2 older boys are at sleepover camp in Canada. And our baby, Max, he's 6 years old. He's also 6. We should get the kids together.
I know.
He's at like a day camp here in Miami.
Yeah.
I walk into the kitchen. Valeria's on the computer doing stuff. She goes, "You want to see something crazy?"
Oh gosh.
I'm like, "What?" She pulls up a picture of our son with a shiner like this, like a full swollen. And I was like, "Oh my God." I thought I almost fell down. I got so scared. She's like, "No, it's okay. He's fine. Like they say he's fine. Like everything's okay."
This was from camp, from the sleepaway camp?
Yeah, it's 5 minutes from our house.
Camp.
The day camp.
Got it. Oh my God.
It's like, but it was so dramatic looking. And then she's like, at the camp they said it's okay. It's like normal. It just looks worse than it is. So I loaded the picture into ChatGPT. I'm like, "Listen, this is what's going on with our kid. What's going on?" And ChatGPT's like, "Don't worry, he's fine."
ChatGPT.
So it's fine. But the reason I tell the story is because Valeria from a couple of years ago would have literally if she would have been in a podcast interviewing like the Queen of England.
Right.
Oh my God, she passed away. I'm sorry, like a Kardashian or something.
Right.
I'm just saying she would have said, "I have to go," and she would have ran. But now she's much calmer about it.
Yeah.
She assessed the situation.
Yeah.
And she continued filming her podcast or whatever she was doing.
Yeah.
So
stuff happens.
Yes, stuff does happen. So but overall, it feels like you have been progressing.
For sure.
Again, you've been using a lot of the resources.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I really try to go to if I can to every call, I really do try to go to the calls.
Well, you definitely show up at the events.
I show up at the events, and I think that, just using the resources because they're there. It's an incredibly, and I've said this from the beginning,
Thank you.
It is such a generous program,
Thank you.
And I think that, members can really feel that you guys are this is, I feel like a long game idea.
You took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
Like it's not like you're like, oh, we're going to try this out for a year and we're not really into it. It's palpable, that like our success is your success and you want us to do well, which is great.
Thank you. I want people to see that as a model for themselves.
Yeah.
Because when you model your career as a creator, because we're doing the same business that we're teaching. We're also creators, and this is a monetization model.
Why it's amazing,
right? But everybody has to think long term, and that's why I've had calls with creators who they're having a dip in their data, and I see them doing strategically things that are just like, it looks desperate. It looks like you're just desperately trying to get attention and do stuff. Where I'm just like, you have to stop and look at the long game.
Yeah.
So that's really important. So anyways, I'm really glad about that. Can you let's talk about kind of where you're at. It just sounds to me like you're at a place with 7, staff members. I think you have about 500,000 kind of collective followers. Your reach is great. You get millions of views every month.
Yeah.
You reach millions of people every month.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. You've got a fairly robust monetization now that you know that it's all one business. I think for me, what I believe you should do before you get into kind of, if you have any questions, is in terms of like what I just described. I think that branding plays like what I just described with going to like one of these, whatever that event is that you can target
for sure,
and finding that anchor, initial sponsor, and then having your team like literally, 72 hours before that plane takes off, to send out a mass email saying Tracy's going to be here.
Yeah.
Here's an update on her data. Here's an update on what she's going to be doing.
It's wild. So in the conversation that I had with my little ChatGPT, I was like, I want to know like what my next real big vision is, because I feel like we always have to be like looking.
We're going to come up with it right now.
And and I realize it's like brand trips, being things like this. I think that's like totally nail on the head,
Well, I think there's two avenues for you to for growth. One is to grow, obviously, the monetization side.
Yeah.
And I think that can be done with equity deals. So
Yeah.
I want to talk with you about that because I think you're
Interesting.
definitely in a position, if you're not already doing it.
No.
And then the other is I want to see kind of a revised content plan and execution from you because you've got resources of some kind that allow you to optimize your operations in a way that will allow you to grow. You are in a great position where I'll tell you just a quick backstory as to how I'd like to analyze kind of what happens next for you. Do you have specific questions or is this,
no,
are
this
you
is
okay on
good
this?
so far, because then I'll ask you specifics.
Right. So when we decided on the very first hire for Valeria, the logic that I used is I spoke with Valeria and I said, okay, explain to me what your day looks like. And she said to me, this was when she was on her own. That's literally like within 48 hours after that $10,000 check came in, not even like hours within that check came in. I said, what does your day look like? Tell me about your day. And she said, I spend an hour in front of the camera and I spend 9 hours a day editing video. I said, how do you know how to edit video? This is my 26-year-old wife. It didn't cross my mind that she would even work at all, to be honest with you. I didn't even think about it. And so she said, well, I learned how to edit video I did a search on YouTube on how to edit video.
Same.
And to me, I thought it was genius. Like I thought it was genius. I don't think any man would do that. Quite frankly, not to be a sexist, but any man would be like, okay, I got to hire somebody. I got to pay all this money and invest in this. My wife's like, I YouTubed that. I did a search. Anyways, so I said, okay, how many pieces of content are you putting out? And she goes, well, an hour a day filming, whatever. I put out two videos. And then I have some YouTube, some Instagram content, some photos that I take and stuff. I said, okay, let's do this. Let's hire a videographer. And with that videographer is going to work 8 hours a day. You're still going to have to put time into giving her direction.
Right.
So it's going to give you an extra, let's say 5 hours a day. So now you're 5 hours a day. You have 5 hours a day back. So what I want you to do is I want you to take that time. And for your total I don't want you working more than 8 hours because you need to take care of yourself because you can't overexert yourself because in this case you are the value proposition. Essentially you are the product if you want to say it crudely. So I said, let's get that taken away from you to open a bandwidth for you where you can create more and better content. More and better content is the key. You need to increase the volume and you need to increase the value of the content in order for that content to connect and grow audience. That's what we did. So as this applies to you is if you were to do an honest assessment of your time and where you're putting your time into your business right now, I bet that there's a lot of time that's kind of bullshit that you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be.
Sure.
Right. So for you already have staff, right? Some part-time, some full-time. I think the first thing that you need to do is you need to go in and you need to do an audit, like literally for a week, for a solid week. So you have like a full cycle. For a solid week, write down, you can get one of these crazy AI pendants. Have you ever seen this?
No.
So it's like you wear this little thing and it records your whole day.
What?
And then at the end of the day, you say, give me a review of and you can ask it, what did I do all day today?
Wow.
Like break down my day for me and tell me what the hell I did all day. So
that's crazy.
And they're cheap, they're like a couple of $100.
Can I get it on Amazon?
I'm sure.
Okay, great.
go to ChatGPT.
Adds to cart immediately.
Right. So go. I wish I had an affiliate link. Go to ChatGPT.
I wish I did.
Go to ChatGPT and find out where you can buy this. Describe what I just described. There's already companies leading in this space.
Wow.
And so find out, do that audit, and then at the end of the week, find out, okay, where is Tracy's time being spent? Once you figure that out, then I would ask the AI after that. I would load that all into ChatGPT, and I would say, I need to be creating more and better content. What should I remove from my day?
I mean, I know what I should be removing.
So first do the things that you know. Second, do the ChatGPT analysis. But do them both. And then my guess, if I had to guess, even with your existing staff, you could probably free up, no joke,
100%.
probably between 10 to 20 hours a week.
I realize when it comes to content, I have been a controller. I know that you have to be in it, but now I realize, no, I have to. I have a manager that works with me. So it's not like I'm just going to give it to one person. But what I realize is I need to get out of the weeds of the emails, the requests, the add-ons, because also I'll wake up in a good mood and I'm I'll see some email and it's immediately
you just raised a really good point.
You
so
know?
Not only do you need to get out of it, that it's draining your time, but it's also draining
Right.
your creativity because it gets you
100%.
thinking about shit that you shouldn't be thinking
Yeah.
about. So that's the first thing I want you
Yeah.
to do is do that assessment.
Yeah,
When I
totally.
look at your content, my honest opinion of your content is that it's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, it's sporadic.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's as intentional
Yeah.
as it could be. What you're
100% accurate, especially
so
on Instagram.
I feel like your volume is decent.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't like, I don't have a bone to pick with you
Yeah.
regarding the volume,
Yeah.
but I want to see formats of you. And I say this often, I want to see formats of you in the same place,
Yeah.
same lighting.
Yeah.
And what you change is the subject matter that you talk about, whether it's in the form of monologues. I see you've been trying dialogues on Instagram Live, which is, it's great to try these things.
Yeah.
But I feel like right now you're trying a lot of different things. So what I want you to do is I want you to go back and do the assessment, like look through the last 300 pieces of content. Let's say just Reels, for example.
Okay.
Just look at Reels, the last 300.
Yeah.
No joke, put them in a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Sort it by number of views.
Yeah.
Take the top 10 to 20 concepts and try to create like a common denominator conceptually of what works.
Yeah.
And then say, okay, this is the format that I'm going to now use. And then once you have that format, because I bet that if I was to do an analysis of your data, maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that if I was to look at it and if I was to go back into those 300 pieces of content, there's probably a concept that's already there that has over-indexed.
100%. I know
But
exactly.
but you're not executing on it.
No, not consistently.
Right. So what you should be doing, and this is like a constant thing that I go back to our team with,
Yeah.
saying, hey, like we know that this format, like the outfit of the day video, performs well for Valeria.
Yeah.
Why was there only 2 last week? Her outfits were intentional 6 times. I counted because I live with her.
Yeah.
I counted 6 times she had cool outfits on.
Yeah.
Where are the 6 outfit of the day videos?
Right.
We went out for dinner. She was wearing a great outfit. Where's the outfit of the night video?
Yeah.
Because I know that concept, that format resonates. So what I'm suggesting to you is to find that concept
Yeah.
within your current data set
Yeah.
and triple down on it. Like you need to be, if you have like, let's say a certain concept that you know that this format works for you, you need to be making that video every day.
Yeah.
But throwing those noodles at the wall are
Yeah.
also important.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find another hit there. You're going to find something else. Me experimenting, like when I'm in my cold plunge, I was in my cold plunge and Valeria walked in to show me 2 identical pairs, like 2 identical shoes that she was wearing to tell me which one should I wear. I'm joking, right? Like that's, I think, a woman thing, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like they look completely the
Yeah.
same. Also, maybe I didn't see so well because I was so cold at the
Right.
time. But that video, I just shot it like nothing. And I mean, I think on her Instagram, it's got over 40 million views. And I posted it first to mine, and on mine it has like 15 million
Yeah,
views.
amazing.
And I gained 5,000 followers, she gained 20,000 followers,
That's
something to
amazing.
that effect.
Yeah.
My point is that I'm throwing that against the wall,
Yeah.
but then I still have my core
Right.
stuff, which now this is going to be a new format. Like the short form from
Yeah.
this podcast is
Yeah.
going to be a new format. Sorry to be so long-winded.
No,
but that's
this
what I
is super
suggest for
helpful.
you. So that's on the formatting perspective. I also think I think that alone is going to give you, I think, a meaningful
in
growth
full
curve.
transparency, I have just been I'm like, as long as I'm consistent and just putting up a piece of content a day, but there's
past
no,
that. You're past that.
Yeah,
now.
like now
But-
it's like,
but-
okay, it's time to.
But I'm not saying for you to do more work.
Yeah.
This isn't more work. This
Yeah,
is more work to do the
strategic.
analysis.
Yeah.
This is now just more strategic and intentional.
Yeah.
You'll be putting in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And I got to say that once you get used to it, it's easier for you to create
Yeah,
80% of your content in between like 2 to 3 formats
Yeah.
than what you're doing now.
for sure. For sure.
And then you have your 20% to have
Yeah.
fun and do all the stuff you're doing now. That's my suggestion.
Yeah.
And
Makes
then
sense.
the other thing is that event thing that I suggested. I think that's
No, I
kind of
think
your
that's
next
huge.
step.
Yeah, for sure.
And then once you do that analysis of your time, it doesn't have to be necessarily like a direct, like an activity that directly involves your content, or it could be literally freeing up something that you're spending your time on that you shouldn't be spending
Yeah.
your time on.
I like traveling. I like spending time with my friends. I like, so I do that, but it's hard. It's hard, like managing all the things,
I know, but
right?
so when you say it's hard, my suggestion to you is to reframe that.
Yeah.
And what I mean by reframing that is that's part of your job.
Yeah.
That's actually work.
Yeah.
Like me taking off on the entire Sunday
Yeah.
and riding for 300 miles on my
Yeah.
bike and coming back like late, that's part of my job.
For sure.
Because I did that on Sunday,
Yeah.
I think I'm doing reasonably well on this
Yeah.
podcast. Had I not have done that,
Yeah.
I'd be sitting here and kind of like in my head about some other stuff. And
no,
so
for sure. I mean, I think I've had this conversation many times with my husband because I'm like, me going to Pilates is work. It's part of my job. Me taking a walk, it's work. Yeah. Like that is.
Especially if you're documenting it too.
Yeah.
If you can even pull a little bit of content out of the stuff you enjoy. And I want to mention one other thing.
Yeah.
When I do the stuff that I enjoy, you would think that my content is mostly about content creation. Mm-hmm. It's mostly about my experiences in what I do professionally. But you would be surprised that when I put up motorcycle content, which you would think that my pretty much exclusively all-female audience, because of the nature of the work that I do, they wouldn't care. I get more engagement on my stupid motorcycle stuff.
So funny.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying to you is that when you're doing stuff that isn't necessarily, with with the stuff that you do, like you'd be surprised because you let people into your your life. I want to get your advice on something for the people who are listening who are thinking about content creation or who are currently content creators and are struggling. You had the advantage, or maybe it was your parents who got you into dance, which you've been on a stage from early on in your life.
Yeah, true.
So you have that skill of and Valeria had it too because she was modeling not runway modeling, but she was doing catalog, which was also like a studio and
people.
So you had that advantage early on. Let's say your daughter as an example. You may or may not get her into stuff that puts her like on a stage.
Yeah.
How would you, if let's say 10 years from now, call it 12 years from now when she's 18.
Yeah.
and she wants to create content, right?
Yeah.
And she wants to put it out on a platform. What's your advice? You kind of had it from an early age, but what's your advice to somebody who hasn't had it?
I mean, the only way to get past it is you just have to do it.
Correct.
I heard once, when you first see yourself on video, it's weird. Now, granted, I think it's different now because kids are growing up seeing themselves on video, seeing themselves, constantly being documented. But we didn't. We were like in the woods, wild, like there were no phones, like whatever.
You're not wrong. We were,
no, like it's great. Thank God,
Yeah.
So it's weird to see yourself at first. Just like create 5 videos in close succession and just make yourself watch them, because then eventually you're not looking at like the weird thing under your eye or the no one's thinking about that. And the other thing is, I think as much as like the most important thing is whatever your message is, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're trying to get across, whether it's like clothing or like healthy living or motorcycles or whatever.
Yeah.
Like just share what you need to share, because like you're going to make a difference for someone, and I think that you can't have everyone liking you, and I think especially as women, we like don't want to ruffle feathers or have people say mean things. They're going to say mean things constantly, but like, so what, like, so what? And I just think, if you have a calling and you want to, share whatever you think, whether it be a product or a message or a mission or who cares? Clothes, just do it, because I just think, what a time to be alive. What a time. Like,
I want to add to that.
Yeah.
I want to add to that. What I've been finding for myself and some of the creators that I've talked to, and, this may seem somewhat superficial, but I don't think it is you have to, as much as possible, take care of yourself and get into shape.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that confidence that comes from fitness is really important.
Huge.
And you see it. Like you'll see people starting off in their careers where they're not as fit. And as they start getting more scale, they prioritize their fitness and their health and well-being overall. Like,
if you don't have your health, you have nothing.
I slept 8 hours last night, and I feel great on this podcast, even though I haven't eaten anything.
I love that you're working out later in the day.
Did you see that?
Yes. It's such a weird thing to say, because I'm always like, oh, I say that.
No, you're right.
Watch your content.
No, thank you.
And I think that's huge.
Tracy, thank you. I really appreciate you being the first, taking
I can't
this
believe I'm the first.
leap of faith and being the first.
I was shocked. My
podcast.
mouth was like, what?
No, it's an absolute pleasure. And I'm really happy with this. And thank you for all your support with Creator Method and for what we're doing.
It's the best.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you.